right, I'm going to show you how to make ribbon sandwiches today. So we're going to start with making our fillings. Ribbon sandwiches are a great thing to have for like wedding receptions, parties. They're super easy to make, and like the cream cheese mints, which we have our other tutorial video you can watch as well, they're pretty impressive. You can make them ahead of time. You can freeze them. They freeze really well. So this is something, again, if you're trying to do a wedding on a budget, this is a great thing to do and make ahead of time and freeze, and you're ready to go. So if you're trying to do a budget with your wedding for the catering and things like that, I grew up, my mom did weddings, so we made these all the time. They're super easy. So this first, when it comes to ribbon sandwiches, there's all different type of fillings you can do. So some of the ones that we usually do, we always do a Spam and cheese. That seems to be everybody's, it's like a ham and cheese sandwich. That tends to be the favorite for most people. And that's, I'm gonna make the Spam filling first here. So you can do your Spam and then your cheese layer is just the jar cheese. You can do a filling that's cream cheese and pineapple, which we'll do here later. You can always do chicken salad, like a chicken salad sandwich filling. I would recommend not doing tuna because the fish is really strong in flavor usually, but just use more chicken salad and then tuna, rather than tuna salad. Some other ones we would do would be peanut butter and honey mixture. My mom would do cream cheese and maraschino cherries blended together. And sometimes she would do olives. There's really no, I mean, you can get so creative with these fillings. Those are kind of the most popular ones that we did often. But you can really get creative with some of your ribbon sandwich fillings. So I'm gonna do the Spam one right now, and I'm gonna show you how easy. So we'll just make our fillings and we'll set them aside, and then we'll assemble the sandwiches. So Spam, this is like one of the few times I ever even buy Spam. So once you open it, just get a butter knife and you're just cutting it into like, I just cut it into like thirds. Mostly that's just because it's gonna go, I mean, you can chop it up more actually. I might cut it in half there again. And then you're just trying to get it so it'll blend up a little easier. Now, depending on how much you're doing, you can always make more. We're doing we ordered 5 loaves of the ribbon sandwich bread. So I'm doing 3 cans of Spam because we're doing quite a bit for our tea party for my daughter's birthday. If you're doing a big event or something, that's probably how many. Now, when we did weddings, we would order probably about 10 to 15 loaves of the ribbon sandwich bread. And I'll show you here in a second what the ribbon sandwich bread is. You usually you have to custom order it from a bakery. Our local grocery store bakery does make them. It's just called ribbon bread. Basically, they can color it any color you want, so it's great to go with your wedding themes and all that. And they slice it horizontally instead of vertically. So you're gonna end up with about 5, you have a big loaf and you have about 5 slices the whole length of the loaf. Okay, so I got my Spam in there and I'm just gonna add some mayonnaise into it. Whoa, that scoop totally abandoned ship. What a mess right down my mixer. Okay, once you have your mayonnaise in, add some mustard. And these I'm just eyeballing. You want this to be thin enough that it's spreadable. That's the goal. Other than that, there's no rhyme or reason to the portions. I mean, I probably did, I wasn't really paying attention. Maybe a cup of mayonnaise and 1/4 cup of mustard. We'll blend it up and we'll see. We can always add more, right? Oh, maybe. Let's see. Oh, it's getting there. break some of these big pieces. Now you don't want this a pate. You don't want to blend it so that it's like a pate. You just want it enough that you don't have big chunks. There we go. Needs a little more mayonnaise. It should be blending up a little easier, so I'm going to add another scoop or two of mayonnaise. Let's do that. We'll do 2 more scoops because you want it kind of wet because it'll spread easier. If it's too thick, your sandwich will feel dry. I'm going to a lot better when it's got a little more mayonnaise. Actually, it looks like it could use a little more, and I think I might add a little more mustard in it too. So we might be closer to having to have about 2 cups of mayonnaise in this. But you can tell when I added more mayonnaise, it started blending a lot faster, a lot better, because it just really wasn't pulling some of those big chunks. It was too dry. So this it's getting most of the chunks now. All right, I think I'm gonna stir the rest by hand because I definitely don't want a pate. And we ended up with 1 big piece. Trigger's gonna be my favorite. There we go. It's one of the perks of having a dog. Oh, here comes the little jealous one. She heard I was giving out samples. All right, so now there's our Spam. It shouldn't have too many chunks, but I was afraid it was gonna be more of a pate if I continue to blend it. So now I'm gonna put it in a bowl and mix it together and start working on the other fillings. So now that I pull it out, I think I did mix it a little more than I would have liked to, but not too bad, okay? So there's still a texture to it. You just don't want it so smooth. It's not the end of the world if you do. There's still some chunks in there. So I probably should have, in hindsight, what I should have done is stop it when I could tell it wasn't incorporating everything and add more mayonnaise in quicker, like sooner. So, but this isn't bad. So it's not full on pate, but it's a little more chopped and processed than I would prefer, but not bad. Okay, I'm gonna set this aside and wash my dishes and then get going on the next layer that we're gonna do. This next layer I'm going to do for our ribbon sandwiches is cream cheese and pineapple. Sounds like kind of an odd combination, but trust me, it works. So with these blends, the cream cheese actually makes a really good filling for these sandwiches. There's a lot of different things you could do. My mom's favorites were the cream cheese and pineapple, or she'd do cream cheese and the maraschino cherries, or just, bottled cherries, whatever. I'm not a big fan of cherries, but I do like the pineapple. The cherries are pretty though, because it makes it a bright red filling, or pink, I guess, pink filling. And so they do make a pretty color, but you have your colored bread, so I don't worry too much about that. We used to have so much fun. So growing up, when we were doing weddings and things, my mom would make all the fillings and we would just set all the fillings in the middle of the table. everybody would sit around the table and we'd have all the loaves of the bread as well. And everybody would just make, you know, everybody'd sit at their own place and they would make a ribbon sandwich and just kind of mix and match whatever fillings and bread color choices you wanted. And it was a lot of fun. It was just kind of, again, a good family thing at weddings and stuff. It was a great way to be budget savvy. Now this, you do want some of the pineapple juice. I'm just gonna strain the juice into this cup. You do want some of the pineapple juice because that is gonna help it be more spreadable, but you don't want it too runny. And I've made that mistake before where I just dumped the whole can in, because even after straining it, this is crushed pineapple. So your crushed pineapple is gonna have the juices in that'll make it thinner. You can always add more juice in, but you can't take juice out, right? So what I do is strain the juice separate, and then you can, like I said, you can always add it in. And I'm gonna do, I might just do 1 can. Let's do 1 can and see how that does. I got 2, and I was gonna do kind of a, you know, 2 cream cheese, 2 cans of pineapple, but I'm thinking 1 might do. So let's get this going and let's blend it up. All right, let's look and see. Look at that, that was super quick and easy. And that's perfect. It is a little on the runny side. Ooh, you know what? I think I'm gonna add another thing of cream cheese. I think I will, because it is a little on the runny side. I'm gonna go ahead and just add 2 more things of cream cheese. Because you don't want it too runny. I mean, you want it spreadable, but you don't want it too runny. And I probably should have strained the pineapple in like a strainer for a few minutes to get all the juice out a little bit more, but that's okay. We'll just add more cream cheese and thicken it up that way. Luckily I had more cream cheese on hand, so we'll see how this does. It's kind of a, I'm one of those as you go, fly by the seat of your pants cooks, if you haven't noticed. We follow the food as it tells us, right? You know, we don't go by a whole lot of recipes at our house. We go by inspiration. The whispering secrets of our ancestors that tell us when to stop. But you know, that's the thing, is being creative. It's food. You can always make it work. There's always a way to fix it or make it work. Okay. Cream cheese, get out of there. Okay, let's blend that up. Glad I have an apron I can wipe my hands on. Huh? Oh, come on. There we go, that's better. Now, unlike the Spam, this one you can't really overbeat it because the pineapples, woo, spill it on my counter. I need a bigger kitchen. Let's just say. Pineapple juice. Okay. Pineapple all over me. Much better, much better. So it's kind of a, almost, it looks kind of like cottage cheese, really, which is what we want. You want it spreadable, but not runny, and not like the solid cream cheese where it's too hard to spread. I think this is perfect. So 4 to 1, 4 things of cream cheese to 1 can of crushed pineapple. That's the key for this one. All right, I'm gonna put this in the bowl and then work on the next one. Don't want lumpy cream cheese. Yeah, so look at this, it's just, it's spreadable, right? That's how we want it. But definitely we don't want lumps of cream cheese because that's not spreadable. And if it happens, when you're putting them on your bread, just pull it out, no big deal. Pull it out, put it in the trash. It's not gonna hurt anything. I hear chickens outside. Somebody's proud of themselves for laying an egg. Okay, there's that layer down. Now this next one, I'm not gonna need the food processor for, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it away. This next layer, this next filling layer, this next filling layer is going to be chicken salad. So, like I said, I would not recommend doing tuna because of the strong fishiness. I mean, you can add lemon juice and it takes some of that fishiness out, but I would steer more to a chicken salad filling than tuna. Let me rinse these off. So with this, because these sandwiches are so small, right? You're gonna have basically little bite-sized sandwiches, and each layer, you don't want it to take up too much of there's just not a lot of room. So you have to keep that in mind, that your fillings, you don't want chunks really of anything. So this celery, I'm splitting them here, cutting them. I'm gonna cut it really fine because you want the flavor, you want the crunch, but you don't want big old chunks. The celery does add a lot for a chicken salad sandwich, but you just want that little bit of crunch, not so much of the bulkiness. I was debating about adding craisins. So normally when I make chicken salad, I put craisins in it, and celery and green onions. Oh, I do have green onions. I'll chop up for this too. But the problem with craisins is they're hard to really dice up too small, because they get so sticky. So I'm kind of on the fence with that. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Plus, having the pineapple layer, I am gonna do the chicken salad with the pineapple layer. So unlike we did growing up, where because when we were doing them for weddings, we just did a hodgepodge, right? And it wasn't really a rhyme or reason. Usually your Spam and cheese layer go really well together, but you could do your cheese layer with the cream cheese and pineapple, or you could do the cheese layer with the chicken salad. You could do chicken salad and Spam. You can mix them up a lot, and they're such small sandwiches. It's not, some blends are just better than others together, but it's not going to be like, oh, that one's horrible. They're also mild, all the different fillings. So I'm just chopping this celery up pretty small, because again, we don't really want chunks for little sandwiches. You don't want to, and these are going to have some chunks in it just because it's celery. You could use like a celery salt, or you could do something like that instead if you wanted the flavor without the chunks. But the chunks they add a little bit of color to a white filling, so we'll put them in. I just want to make sure my celery is chopped up really good. I guess in hindsight, I could have done this layer in the food processor, but you want to be careful, because sometimes it's easy to over blend stuff. You don't want celery paste, right? And in a food processor, it can be easy to over blend. All right, I am going to get green onions as well. Okay, the green onions and the celery will both add some freshness and flavor. I think these will complement the chicken salad really well, because you have the pineapple and the cream cheese. It'll make it creamy, but yet a freshness. So I think these will complement each other really well. But definitely you could branch out on some filling options. You just want to remember not to have it too runny, too saucy. You want it about, I would say, like a peanut butter texture consistency. I'm going to just keep chopping these really small again, like the celery, because you don't want onions, the green onions, they fold and bend a little bit more than the celery does. So if they're bigger pieces, they don't get as intrusive as far as like when you go to cut the sandwiches and things, they won't mess things up as much as the celery would, but we still want them small. So, but you want to remember, yeah, about a peanut butter consistency when you're doing your fillings. All right, we got green onion. I love the smell of like fresh green onions, or the smell of fresh green onions and celery, things as you're chopping them. Same with tomatoes, fresh garden tomatoes. Okay, so I have 3 cans of, this is just canned chicken. Again, you could use tuna, but I would recommend stay away from tuna. I mean, if you wanted to do, okay, so let me think about this. If you wanted to have more of a seafood theme ribbon sandwich, technically, where can I strain this? I strain this in this bowl. If you wanted a seafood theme, technically, you could do all your filling seafood. I don't know, I've never done that before, but that would be kind of interesting, because you could do like, okay, you could do like a salmon puree, kind of like some seafood dips that you would do. You could do a salmon puree. You could do a spinach filling. You could do a lemon cream cheese filling would be really good. That would complement seafood. You could do a shrimp and cream cheese one, and then so we do a dip that where you get just a brick of cream cheese, you pour the chili sauce on top of it, on top of the cream cheese, and then you do those mini shrimp, a can of the mini shrimp on top, and you dip Ritz crackers in it, and it's really, really good. So you could actually do that chili sauce as one of your layers, or mix chili sauce with cream cheese. That's what I would do probably. I would mix chili sauce and cream cheese, and then maybe mix some shrimp with something. Okay, you could mix shrimp with like cream cheese or mayonnaise or sour cream even. And you could, just make it like, so it's like a peanut butter texture, but if you use the little mini shrimp so they would still show, you'd have the chunks, which could be a little bit of a challenge, but that would be kind of interesting. Now I kind of want to try that. You could do, and then you could do your tuna fish, you could do salmon, you could really do like any type of seafood. You could do crab salad. Ooh, crab salad would be an interesting layer. Again, you would have to mix your crab salad. It'd have to be really fine, but that's how we prefer it anyway. When I make crab salad, and there might be a video on that. I think did I do a video? I know the recipe is on my blog, the What I Date, but okay, so now I got chicken. I'm just gonna add some mayonnaise. I'm gonna finish this one off and then open a new thing of mayonnaise. When we do crab salad, I blend it up in the food processor. I blend up the celery and the green onions, so they're really fine, and then I add the crab and the mayonnaise. So our crab salad, when we make it, is pretty fine, and that would be perfect for ribbon sandwiches like this. So you could do crab salad. I think a cream cheese mixture with like lemon zest and maybe a little lemon juice would be really interesting with a seafood layer. I've never really thought about seafood, but I think it could work. I think if you did you wouldn't really want to mix seafood with regular stuff, but I think there's potential there. Now I really want to try it. That might have to be something we try. Okay, so I'm trying to break up this chicken just by spoon here, but see what I mean about the chunks. I think it'll be fine. Oh, I didn't add seasoning. So for this, I mean, it's just chicken salad. I'm gonna just do the chef's choice. This is a Thrive Life seasoning. It's all freeze-dried stuff, so just about a tablespoon of the seasoning there to give it a little flavor. You could do like garlic powder, garlic salt. It's always good in this stuff. Okay, so I'm just mixing it up to get those big chicken chunks blended and broken up. And ta-da! Okay, so there you have it. There's our chicken salad layer. All right, so, and the other layer, the cheese layer, is in a jar, so I don't have to do any prep. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything set up so we can start assembling our sandwiches. These are our ribbon sandwich bread. So it's just bread that's been sliced lengthwise. And so we end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 slices per loaf. So you can see we custom ordered them in the colors we want. Now this one here, this top one's probably gonna be no good, which is fine. Usually the ends you don't want, we're gonna cut the ends off anyway. So those are ones that kids can use as scraps or things that way. So have a pile of your ends, save the bags these came in, because once your sandwiches are made, you can put them right back in the bags. For our event, we're only gonna do 3 layers. So we're gonna do a mixture of different colors. We do have 2 loaves of the white bread. So we're gonna do a mixture of colors and 3 slices per sandwich. Well, that's a shame.
What?
This layer would have been good, except for look at that. Now, if we need to, we can cut it that way and use that. But for now, we're gonna set it aside with our unusable bread.
It's like 100 layers.
Okay, so now I got my 3 layers. I'm gonna go ahead and fill them up. You want to go clear to the edges. We will be cutting off the edges with our electric knife once they're frozen, but you want to go as close to the edges as possible. Okay.
I'll try.
And then go ahead and layer that on top. And then we'll do our cream cheese pineapple layer. Oh, see, and there's a big chunk of cream cheese. Don't worry about that, just throw it away.
For us, for me, if it's a big chunk of meat, I can give it to the dogs.
You can, yeah, if it's, you could throw it away or give it to the dogs, but I think the dogs will gladly take up any scraps. So just remember, go all the way to the edge, and then top layer, and you're done. Now, this is gonna get wrapped and then put in the freezer. And once it's good and frozen, we're gonna get our electric knife and we will cut off all the crusts, and then we'll start slicing them about that wide and start slicing them like this, and it'll be a 3-layered mini sandwich. That is what ribbon sandwiches are. Look at those pretty layers. It's gonna look so pretty. these have been frozen, which is the best way to do it. Okay, let's set that so we can put all our scraps for the chickens there. And I'll probably just do over the sound, so. This one is Spam and cheese. It's like
This? Yeah. This little part to it.